Hello, I'm Rick Steiner. Welcome to Lux Life Discovered. My guest today is Chris Harrell. So, Chris, thank you for being with us today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So, one thing that interested me in having you on, I'd contacted Johnny with Johnny Ocean Photography, and I said, when I went to, it was a shoot you guys did.
Yes.
With the Versace clothing.
Yes.
Wasn't it? Yes. And that caught my attention because that was a very sharp, and for him, he usually does the underwater photography. So when I saw that, I was just like intriguing because I didn't know he did that type work. And then of course you nailed that shoot perfectly.
Thank you.
And so I called him. I'm like, hey, tell me about this guy. And so he did. So what intrigued me was that, and then finding out that you're a new model, and kind of wanted to go into that and just we want to follow your career and see what all this leads to, because I think there's so much potential there. And then you've had since we talked months ago initially, there's been a lot that's happened with you since then.
Yes.
So kind of bring us up to date. Are you from the area originally?
No, I was born in Atlanta, and I actually moved to a small place called Biloxi, Mississippi when I was really young. Yeah. There is not a lot to do whenever you're there. There's only gambling and fighting, and I don't like to gamble. Okay. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is something that I picked up over there with my big brother. He was a professional fighter with American Top Team. Okay. And so I spent pretty much my entire time there just going through school, going through community college, and just fighting there. And then... all
right, so when you said gambling or fighting, you meant fighting in the...
Like fighting, like jiu-jitsu, like professional...
Not like street fighting.
No. Mine was regulated. That's what I was saying. Mine was regulated. I mean, in Biloxi or Gulfport, yeah, probably that too. But
well, that's where my mind went. So, but I'm glad you clarified.
No, don't worry. I wasn't like pulling hair or nothing. No. Yeah. So there was like a lot of good gyms in the area and a shocking amount of history with the fighting in that area. I believe Biloxi was actually one of the first places in the United States that had a sanctioned boxing match, like a long time ago. And we also have the Mississippi Coliseum that's there. And so Jorge Masvidal owns bare knuckle boxing. I don't know if you've heard of it, but literally just boxing, but no gloves, same thing for the MMA. And so a lot of the fights that he did host were actually at that Coliseum. So, and he was American Top Team affiliated. So even after he would retire, he would go train at the American Top Team that I would train at and stuff. So there's actually a lot of roots and a lot of really, really good people that I got to train with over there. Like former heavyweight Alan Belcher was the person who originally owned that gym, Coach Mike Sanford, and of course my big brother Alex. Right. He was one of the head coaches. So I was pretty active pretty much the whole time I was there, but moved here recently. No flesh-eating bacteria in the water, and there are actual dolphins here. So it's fantastic. Way better scenery. I can actually go out and try and surf. Yeah. And
are you a good surfer?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, no. I rode a ripstick, which is like a skateboard with two wheels, a couple times, and I was like, oh, I'll do fine. Like, I'll do great. No,
right. No. That's the same.
No,
yeah.
But as long as I'm out there and burning calories and trying to get a little bit better, I'll.
So have you maintained the fighting since you've been here?
I tried.
Is there any place around that has that?
There's a couple of gyms. I'm kind of like a vagabond right now, kind of like a Ronin wandering warrior, kind of hopping from gym to gym, trying to get as much training as I can with some of the best. In jiu-jitsu, that does cause a bit of an issue because there's this idea of lineage that's a little bit important, like who you get your black belt from, who you train with, who promotes you. And so with me kind of wandering around being new to this area, and this is a very unique area, it's going to be really hard for me to get a promotion to that final stage of black belt. But I do still train, and I do have to be cautious with my face now, with my new career trajectory.
Right. I was going to get to that.
But it does keep me active, and I do really like it. But there's now an emphasis more on weightlifting and cardio and diet, like a lot of dietary restrictions. And sometimes doing things that I am told to that I necessarily do not want to do. One of the weird ones within the modeling industry that I do not like is we discussed this a little bit earlier before the show started, but I am partially Italian and Mexican, and so I grow body hair like crazy. And apparently, in the male modeling world, that is a valuable asset. A lot of the guys just don't grow body hair anymore. So my agent is like, you cannot shave. You have to keep the stern.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that they wanted you to.
No, they do not want me to shave. So the issue with that is I actually lose muscle definition. That's kind of like a cheat code for
Right.
some of the looks maxing people out there, is to shave your body hair and you will reveal a lot more definition. So
Definitely, yeah.
a lot of like shoots, a lot of models, no matter where you go, their whole body's pretty much shaved. There's a few exceptions like Miami Swim Week, and a couple other shows like Volleypalooza, where they actually do want you to keep the body hair, but apparently it's a very rare trait. And
Things
it
you don't know,
used to be more popular back in like the 80s when Richard Avedon would take photos of the Versace line, which is what Mr. Johnny was wanting to kind of replicate. He was trying to replicate that Richard Avedon type shoot and come up with like a part 2 because it starts above the water. And so far we've done that part. And he wants to do like kind of a faux sequel in spirit underneath the water once the model actually dove in and had the Versace on. And so that's kind of hopefully what we're going to be working on pretty soon in a little bit. But
He does some amazing work, and I like his.
Fantastic.
You know, it's like I always think, how in the world? Of course, I don't have the same vision he has, but just that creative mindset and how he can do it and make it look so effortless is unreal.
And the technique behind it. He was definitely one of the more unique photographers I've worked with or modeled for. A lot of photographers go and then go through thousands of photos and figure it out. He probably the most, and I mean this in a complimentary way, he's probably the slowest photographer I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
He waits, he waits, and he waits. I did, when I was first working with my mother agent back in Vero Beach, when I first flew down and started up my portfolio, we took in one day like 4,300 or 4,700 photos.
Right.
And we had to choose like 10. And with Johnny, it was like, I think we took like 40.
Right, yeah.
So he waits and he waits
But
and he
he
waits.
got the better pictures too.
He's fantastic. He's amazing. And I love both of their respective styles. And one is definitely better for his vision, what he wants to do. For me, it's about trying to have as many possible options to choose from, as well as my agent, so that whenever I do go into meetings and I do meet with new agencies, I have better pictures or better digitals to show or represent myself to those people that I'm meeting. And so it's very interesting how not just the models can be different, but the photography and the style and the direction can impact the entire thing and how it's going to look.
Probably finding out what is great for one photographer in one situation is totally not what the other one's going to want. You
Absolutely.
know, yeah.
Especially
it's like,
the amount of
how
movement.
can you be that far in the spectrums? But it happens.
Yeah.
So when did you sign with the agency in Vero Beach?
Well, not in Vero Beach. So that's my mother agent. So the way the modeling world's a little convoluted. The way a mother agent works is that is a singular person who typically you would pay a pretty decent portion size of money, $1,500 to $2,000, for them to, either travel to you or you travel to them and go under development, which is build up your portfolio, do your first test photo shoots, try in everything from suits to underwear to, fashion shoots, trench coat, just everything. Try to get as many looks outside, inside, studio. And the mother agent will then take that and he will, on your behalf, submit stuff to the agencies that he has connections to. My mother agent, George, fantastic guy. Love you, George. He has submitted, he actually paid for everything for me. So that's why he's a mother agent, not just a regular agent.
Right.
He was like an angel from heaven. He flew me down, took all the photos, and then did the submissions himself. And then about a year later, I went up to New York, and in January, and that is a very odd detail because the way the ebb and flow of the modeling world works is you really don't do anything until mid-February, late February, like the start of New York Fashion Week.
Right.
And then you go on and then it peaks and then kind of towards November and October starts dying down. Mid-December you might have a couple of holiday campaigns and then after that it completely shuts off. January is dead. And due to either his connections or whatever agencies were looking at the time within my look or my development, I was able to meet with a lot of agencies in the middle of January or like beginning of January, which which was impressive. And I met a gentleman by the name of Ernest Williams, and we hit it off. We met at a cafe, his favorite spot, and we talked for 3 hours. A lot of people think it's just your look for modeling, but a large part of it is how well you click with the owner or with the director of, you know, whatever talent you're applying for. And he was the only one that was above an hour. Like, we talked for 3 hours, really hit it off. And then a year after that, I went back up in, I believe, October or a little bit before that. And I flew in and I met with him again. And this time we did some digitals and I got officially signed as of then. So right now, I started entering a bulking phase, trying to put on some more muscle. And he said, no. He's like, tighten up those abs. You're also not allowed to shave your body hair or cut your hair. Like, you're just going to have to do exactly as I say. So I immediately had to be like, okay, I'm going.
Bulking days are gone.
Gone. And it sucks because it's winter. It's perfect bulking season. Like, I want to be able to eat everything and not have to worry about my abs. But now he's like, mid-February, that's when everything kicks off. You're going to have to tighten up right now. So my schedule is also having to change. So speaking of doing things that you necessarily don't want to do at that given time, you just kind of have to follow along with it. Especially hair. You know, going to jiu-jitsu, sometimes it gets in my face. If I'm taken down or playing guard, which is anytime I'm pretty much on my butt or on my back, somebody knee, like, clips my hair on the mat and rips it out. Sucks, you know?
It's like, well, that's just part of it.
Yeah, no, it's just like, man, I'm not used to this because I used to just buzz my hair. Looks terrible, but it was efficient. So yeah, I can't do like any of that stuff. So it's a lot of taking the criticism and what they want and what they're looking out from you.
So when you take the critique from other people, and it may not be what you want to hear, how hard is that to?
Especially getting rejected too. So I met like 5 agencies, 4 or 5. I think it was 5. That same day in New York. I was busy that entire day, just going through them meeting to meeting to meeting. And one of them, I'm not gonna disclose which one, was just awful. You know, like, I got there and the guy couldn't give less about giving me the time of day. It was like literally 5 minutes. Yeah, I know. It's like, okay, but you have to realize, and I was speaking to another model friend that I reached out to, Giovanna. She's been incredibly nice. And she was like, somebody is going to want your look. You just have to find it. You have to get in where you kind of fit in. And knowing, like, it's not necessarily you. It's just that's not what the agency's looking for. Sometimes they're just not looking for anybody. So you really kind of have to take the constructive criticism and with a bit of a grain of salt, because sometimes you're just not the look they're looking for. And you just have to move on and try to look for somebody that is looking for you or that you would fit in fantastically with. And try not to take it too personal.
You have to have thick skin.
Yeah, you have to have thick skin, and you have to separate the identity from it. So right now I'm reading The Art of Learning from John Waitskin, and in the book he goes through entity-oriented learning and master-oriented learning people. These are 2 different archetypes of people. The entity one, I just call identity for simplicity's sake. It means, you know, you say, I am smart at this, or I am good at this. And this is, you know, what I have a natural affinity towards. So I come home with a good score on my math test, and maybe I didn't do so well in English. And my mom's like, you know, you did like fantastic, good job, good results, right? Not you worked hard, just good results. And then when it comes to English, like, it's okay. I wasn't good at English either, so maybe that's just not for you. So now it's tied to my identity, and I'm never going to do better. And then you have the master-oriented one where you are effort-focused, not results-focused. And the difference between the 2 is huge. The entity-driven person is brittle when it comes to criticism. The identity and / entity person, when it comes to failure, will most likely crumble, especially whenever you look at development psychological studies with children. They just fumble, they crumble, while the master-oriented or the learning theory children will actually take that criticism and they'll rise up to that challenge, and they're less brittle because their personal identity isn't directly attacked. And so if you're a model and you're an entity person and that's part of your identity and you're told no, that hurts. It's gonna hurt like a lot more than if you were able to just take the criticism and then focus on, right now my generation calls it looks maxing, which can go off a rabbit hole, you know. It's so bad. One of my favorite topics and one of the funniest things that some people will do, but also some of the most extreme and dangerous ones. But yeah, it's very important that you're that learning oriented person, that you're that master oriented person, not the entity identity person, because then it'll attack you directly. So yeah, it hurts, but you just kind of got to roll with the punches. You
Well,
know?
like you said, you understand that, and what a lot of people don't, and that's what where I've seen a lot of people not only just lose their interest in modeling, but just lose all hope and everything altogether. And it takes a long time. Sometimes it results in habits that they never planned to be part of or have in their life, and you've got to rebound from that. But yeah, a lot of people can't take rejection, and so that's huge.
It's a lot of internal criticism too. So there's a Native American parable that says that a man is trying to walk through the land and the world is covered in thorns. Does he tame and cultivate and pave the whole land, which is like controlling the outside? Or does he put on sandals? The putting on sandals is the internal change and kind of going with the flow. That's kind of what you have to do a lot of the time if you want to be successful at it, especially because you're going to get rejected a lot. And somebody that will say yes later might say no now, and they might say yes now, and they might say no later. Everything is flowing. Yeah. They might like the body hair. They might hate it. They might like me super skinny. It's called heroin chic right now. You know, that retatrutide Ozempic look that Ariana Grande has going on, or whatever that crazy lady's name is, Arrivo or something.
Yes, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's just rolling with the punches and stuff.
Oh, wow. Well, you brought out something earlier, too. The guy that you clicked with, that makes a huge difference on how they can say something to you that somebody else may say, but it's taken a completely different way because you know their genuine interest.
Yes. And also, it's a trust thing. So I have to trust that he's going to fly me to the right place. He's going to cover the charges, which not every agency is going to do. A lot of people think that, you're going to get flown private, first class, whatever. That's only for the top dogs. No. Most of the time, you're paying for your own travel expense. Yeah. And so, like, clicking with that person and knowing that this person or this agency is actually going to represent me and take care of me and not just hold me hostage from having other agencies sign me is a big deal. Very big deal. And they also have to trust you as the model to show up on time, not do anything, out of line or out of script, and be in that shape that they expect you to be in. There's a lot of personal things on your end that you have to uphold on that agreement. You don't just sign and then get work. Like, you have to still actively go out for it.
Right. And if you show up for a shoot and you're not the shape that you need to be in, there's no, give me 2 weeks. It's like,
no, like you're there, your makeup's getting put on, you're having your hair done, if they're going to do that. A lot of the times. You're on your way out. Like,
I knew a guy, I had a friend that represented some models in New York, and this model had a chance to shoot for Fruit of the Loom. And he thought, it's not what I want. I want Calvin Klein or nothing. Or I don't know if it's Calvin Klein, but he did want Fruit of the Loom. So the other agency or underwear line, I don't know if it's which one it was, but anyway, they called him, so he went to that shoot. And another model took the Fruit of the Loom job. And Fruit of the Loom paid like $3,500 for the shoot. The other one paid like $500 because they can get who they want and they don't have to worry about it. And he was furious with my friend. He said, "Why didn't you tell me what they paid?" He goes, "I wanted you to want the job, not based on pay."
Yeah.
And so that was a good lesson too, because he thought he was too good for Fruit of the Loom, and then found out what they paid, and it's like, shoot, it'd be nice to have that money.
And it's still exposure. There is a thin line to walk across whenever it comes to high fashion and commercial, because oftentimes, kind of once you dive into one, you're kind of archetyped into that. Right. So if I start commercial, I'll probably make more money up front because commercial just pays more. Yeah. But I'll be seen as that guy. A lot of higher fashion companies like Dior, Versace, they won't want to put me in their clothes because either I'll have too much of a face or I'll be too associated with commercial endeavors.
Exactly.
So I can kind of see why he would be nervous to jump into something like that, especially if you're working towards, like, I really want to get a high fashion campaign. I want to work for Banana Republic. I want to work for Dior. I could see why there was some hesitancy on his behalf, but also at the same time, it's like, you're getting paid to have more on your portfolio, dude. Like, I don't know why you didn't take that.
Are you wanting to do high fashion? Is that what the goal is?
My agency definitely does. Yeah. Ernest definitely wants me going more high fashion, more runway. And the end of this February, I am going to be doing my first runway show in Miami. So that's
Okay.
going to be a very
Swim
unique
week?
experience.
Or was that?
You know, I think you would be given more info. It's January, so reaching out to any agency to get more detail right
Yeah.
now, I'm in the dark until he comes back to text me
Wow.
like, hey, this is what you're doing, this is
Yeah.
what I need you at, stuff like that. So I'm actually a little bit in the dark, funnily enough, about that. But I think it's going to be something with swimwear probably, especially with how vehement he was on me tightening up my abs even more.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you have a six pack, but I need you to have ab veins and a V line. Like, get to it. Like,
Yeah, right.
kind of deal, you
A
know?
week, yeah. That's interesting though, because that you have to be disciplined first of all,
Yes.
because that's if you're not disciplined and really give into it 100%, you'll never be successful. So you've got that out of the way, so that's good. Yeah.
So far,
So
the
far,
idea
yeah.
is to never waver. But sometimes them crumble cookies be looking a little too delicious
Right.
at times, you know?
That's one, if you do, you never admit it. It goes to your grave with you. Like, now, till they see the ads, they're like, oh, crumble. Crumble got after this, so like, any crumble cookies? What they're going to be saying.
I love them too much. I really wish they didn't bring them down here to Florida. They could have stayed wherever they came from for all I care.
No, they are good for sure. So what would be your if you had a dream or a goal for the modeling part, what would that be?
Campaign. Runway doesn't pay that much. A lot of people would be shocked about that. For people that don't know, runway typically pays anywhere between like 200 and maybe 400 if you're kind of established. For the most elite and famous people like Jordan Barrett, you'll maybe get $4,000 to $5,000 for the entire show. The real good aspect of that runway is the exposure and the fact that John Paul is going to be there, Tom Ford's going to be there. You're going to meet these people, or you might meet the lead editor of Vogue. Like, you're going to meet these people that will get you exposed. And even then, Vogue I don't think Vogue pays at all half the time.
A lot of the higher, that's what's been amazing too. A lot of the higher names will pay less because they don't have to.
They don't have to. It's that exposure.
Yeah.
And so from those runways, though, that's when you can meet the people. And my goal is to eventually get into a campaign. So I have a couple of friends that have actually done campaigns for like American Eagle, where you walk in and his face will be on the side of the wall.
Right.
That's the goal. The campaign is that's where you become way more established, and that's where most of the money within modeling is. But if you see a model on the runway, just on the runway, and you never see him anywhere else, he's like me. He's gonna have another job. You know, you can't make that full time unless they're doing commercial. Maybe they do that full time. But again, the amount of people that actually have modeling as a full-time job and are pretty successful with it, there's more NBA players than there are models that actually do that and have like a huge amount of success. And half the time they also have a pretty big Instagram following as well.
Sure.
So it is a very competitive thing. But my goal would be to eventually work with one of the high fashion brands and maybe do a campaign. That's like my dream.
Well, the Versace, if you're watching this, you need to make sure you bring him in after that shoot with Johnny, and that was sharp. I mean, it was a vintage look, and it was just everything Versace for sure.
Yeah, he was telling me those were actual vintage Versace shirts, and he was like, "Yeah, I used to wear that one to the club." I was like, "All right, Johnny, I didn't know you had game like that."
Right.
I didn't know you had game
have
like
to talk
that.
to him about that.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. But yeah, and we haven't done the underwater part yet, so keep an eye out for
cool,
that. Whenever we do that, that's gonna be probably one of my favorite photo shoots of all time.
Well, and Valentino needs to do a new promotion. They use the same two models for years, and so Valentino, here's your guy. Yeah, we just put it out there. We're gonna name it and claim it. No, but gosh, you could pull off the Dior, the Armani. That's the whole look. That's really, and not everybody can do that.
It takes like I said, you have to get in where you fit in. It takes a specific look for depending on what brand you're working with too. Like for example, I probably wouldn't be able to work with Tom Ford because they like really extreme or really alien looking people. You know, like almost like ethereal and like, really high cheekbones or like just really unique looks. My agency, or I guess Ernest says I'm more of like the classical, like handsome look. And so it really just get in where you fit in. Like try to work with people that want to work with you, and that's kind of the whole key point of modeling is getting where you fit in.
Right, and the key too is having a good agent that knows the connections and has the knowledge to get you into those.
And you
So
also
keep
have to
door
have the
open for you.
personality. You have
Yeah.
to be able to talk to them, you know?
Right.
I was homeschooled my entire life, and being social is probably the hardest thing I could do,
Seriously,
is
okay.
coming out of my shell and being able to
Yeah.
actually talk to people. The job that I currently have now requires me to talk to everybody, hold a conversation, make them laugh. And this is not a job that I would ever dream of being able to do back when I was like 14, 15. Like I
You
couldn't.
mind me ask what it is?
I'll keep it a little hidden
Okay.
right now.
All right.
I'll keep it a little
Sounds good.
hidden right now.
All right.
But yeah, they like I never dreamed of doing that. Like I never went out to parties. I never talked to anybody. All of my friends were pretty shut in. You know, like we played Minecraft together, played video games. The only socialization I had was Taekwondo or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu
Yeah.
or Muay Thai. Like the people that I went to
There's
at those
people afraid
gyms.
to beat them up.
Well, I got beat up for a while too. I got my butt handed to me until I was at least blue belt, like a lot, and I was way smaller. I was like 125, 125
Oh, wow.
pounds, like 5'8".
Yeah.
Now I'm back up. Now I'm up to like 170, 6'1". That came out of nowhere, thank God.
Yeah.
Because the height requirement for modeling is also very important too.
Well, I was going to say, and that's something else you're fortunate to, because, you know, so many times you may be perfect what they're looking for, but you may be 6 feet and they want 6'2", or
Yeah.
you know, so it's always, that's what's hard. Patagonia one year, I had a guy that I referred to them, and he was 6'1". The requirements were 6 feet, 38 chest. I mean, everything was very specific. He was
Yeah.
6'1", and so she said, "Well, how tall are you?" 6'1". She goes, "What did I tell you?" I thought, well, an inch is not going to make a difference, but it made a difference, and they're very, I don't know, they can be cutthroat. So yeah,
Can be, and again, you have to not take it personally as
Yeah.
like an attack on your identity. Because if you have it tied to your identity, you're just in a world of hurt. Like at
Oh,
that
yeah,
point,
yeah.
because any criticism is gonna crumble you, and the confidence is super important.
or have a good set of friends that you can like vent to, and they'll build you up.
And yeah, they'll just gas you up, completely glaze
You're
you.
good. You're good.
Nah, dude, you're hot, bro. They don't know what they're missing out on. Like they're trying to console you over an ex. They don't know what they're missing out on. They don't know what they're missing out on.
And then you're like, okay, y'all are just feeding me a bunch of crap right now. So, all right, well, gosh, our time has flown by. We could probably talk 3 hours, like you were talking about your friend, your agent. So,
Yeah.
But I appreciate you taking the time to be with me today. 'Cause
I
this has been
appreciate you
fun.
inviting me.
So we definitely will have you back another time and kind of keep progressing, and as you progress, and then keep people informed and
Yeah.
see how well you do.
If I get
So,
signed by a second agency or maybe even a third, I would love to talk about my experience and work with them and
Okay.
how my career is advancing. And maybe, hopefully, I'll be a full-time model by that point. We'll see.
That's true. All right. And so we've got your information on the screen. So your Gmail account and your Instagram. What's that?
I'm just pointing at it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Well, I thought you were saying, whoa, right? And he's hot. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's how you reach Chris if you want to reach out to him or follow him on Instagram. Everybody wants a lot of followers on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that funny how that sometimes that's one of the things they'll ask you in an audition, like how many followers you have?
Oh, on the paperwork. On the
Yeah.
paperwork, they actually, that's an important thing, actually. On the paperwork, they straight up ask you, size chest, I'll put like 42, height, shoe size, and then it'll be like, what's your Instagram handle? Like they'll straight up ask for your handle, and then a lot of the times it's becoming kind of like a separate portfolio. So a lot of the stuff that I put on there is pretty much only modeling, and you want to put in a little bit of lifestyle. So for anybody else aspiring for modeling, definitely put in some of your lifestyle, especially if it's like rich people stuff. Like if it's like polo or like
but not your like going out partying, getting trashed like
they don't want to see that. They don't want to see that. You want to be somebody that they're really happy to be representing the brand, but at the same time it's like it's this balance, because some brands will actually hate that. They don't want you to have a good face or a famous face. They just want you to be a glorified coat hanger.
Right.
Sometimes they don't want you to know the name, but sometimes they want you to be a big brand, especially if it's commercial. So it's like there's a balance. So definitely cater towards what you're wanting to go for. If you're wanting to go to high fashion or commercial, definitely try to look at other accounts that work with high fashion brands. If you want to work with high fashion, try to model it off of that. So
good advice.
I think I'm done yapping.
Oh, you're good. All right. Well, thank you for being with us. I've enjoyed it a lot. So.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it as well.
And that concludes our episode of Lux Life Discovered. We will see you soon.